Question number 15. Show an accounting equation for the following transactions. D. Mahapatra commenced business with cash 50,000, 1 lakh by check, which means cash at bank. This is cash in hand. Goods 60,000, which means stock. Machinery 1 lakh and furniture 50,000. 1/3 of the above goods sold at a profit of 10% on cost and half of the payment is received in cash. Now in this question, there's a lot of working which you have to do in the second part. So immediately first you do the working. ठीक है? वर्किंग क्या है 1/3 ऑफ द अबव गुड्स कौन से गुड्स ये वाले गुड्स 60,000 सो 60,000 वर द गुड्स 1/3 उसका 1/3 ऑफ 60,000 इज 20,000 ठीक है they were sold at a profit of 10% on cost. So how much is the profit is 10% of 20,000 which is 2,000. तो selling price कितना होगा these were the goods that were sold ठीक है तो what is the selling price? The selling price is it is sold at a profit of 10% on cost. So cost is 20,000 and your profit is 2,000, which makes the selling price 22,000. So you have to calculate all this. Okay. And what is written? Half of the payment is received in cash. Out of this 22,000, half of the payment, which means half of 22,000 is how much? Half of 22,000 is, wait, this half of 22,000 is 11,000 cash. 11,000 cash is received and the remaining 11,000 is not yet received. That means the debtors are there. Debtors have to pay us 11,000 है ना तो ये देखो कुछ ऐसा लिखा नहीं है but you have to infer from the statement कि half of the payment is received in cash. अगर half cash में मिल रहा है तो बाकी बाद में मिलेगा. So that means debtors are created. Understood? ठीक है फिर depreciation on machinery is provided at 10%. तो आप depreciation you are going to calculate here. ठीक है which is 10,000. Okay, which is your 10,000. Then what is there? What else calculation is there? There is IOD, interest charge on drawings, 5%. So immediately do the IOD calculation also. This is your IOD calculation, 5% of drawings. Okay. So after doing all this, we will do the equation part. Asset is equal to liability plus capital. Okay. Now the first part. What is the first part? कि Dr. Mahapatra, D. Mahapatra, he commenced business. तो cash कितना लेके आया? 50,000. ठीक है then what did he do? Check means cash at bank 1 lakh, goods 60,000 which means stock, machinery 1 lakh, furniture 50,000 and you have to total this up and this is your capital. This is the capital that he has got. Understood? So capital is 3,60,000. इस सबको total करेंगे तो 3,60,000. Now the next transaction is 1/3 of the above goods जो ऊपर लिखा था 1/3 of the above goods were sold. Now whatever working, now this profit will affect the capital account. तो profit को आप immediately capital account में add कर दोगे. Okay, then what else? How much cash you are receiving? 11,000. तो 11,000 आप यहाँ पे cash में add कर दोगे. Then debtors are created, remaining are debtors. तो debtors एक और asset आ गए आपके. One more. So 11,000 will go in debtors. And your stock is decreasing. Stock is decreasing by 20,000. 20,000 worth goods are sold. So stock decrease हो रहा है 20,000 within brackets. Okay. So second transaction is done. Then you bring down the balance. Now what is the third transaction? Depreciation of machinery is provided at 10%. So depreciation is what? It is your non-cash expense. It is a non-cash expense. So it will affect the कैपिटल अकाउंट अफेक्ट होगा तो डेप्रिसिएशन का मतलब होता है आपका मशीनरी की वैल्यू कम हो रही है सो मशीनरी विल डिक्रीज बाय 10,000 एंड डेप्रिसिएशन इज एन एक्सपेंस सो यू आर गोइंग टू सबट्रैक्ट 10,000 फ्रॉम हियर ओके फ्रॉम योर कैपिटल अकाउंट दिस डेप्रिसिएशन विल बी डिडक्टेड तो ये आपका न्यू बैलेंस यहाँ पे आ जाएगा ठीक है देन व्हाट इज द fourth transaction, cash withdrawn for personal use. It's a drawing. So it will affect the capital account again. So drawing से 10,000. तो आपका cash will decrease by 10,000. See, cash is decreasing and your drawings will, capital account will also reduce by the amount of drawings, 10,000. Okay. Now, what is the fifth transaction is interest on drawings is charged at 5%. Interest on drawings is charged at 5%. IOD आपने calculate करा है. Now who gives the IOD? IOD is given by the partners to the firm. Partners to the firm. तो अभी ये जो IOD है, पार्टनर देगा, ओनर देगा फर्म को जिसने भी ड्राइंग करी है. तो from where will he give? From capital account. So 500 will be subtracted from the capital account, and at the same time IOD is an income for the firm. It is getting, है ना, business is getting the IOD. So you will add and subtract IOD under your capital account. यहाँ पे 500 minus हो रहे because the owner is giving the IOD to the business, and business के लिए it's an income, and income affects the capital account. तो 500 यहाँ पे add भी होगा, and nothing is here, nothing is affected. Assets are also not affected and liability is not affected. तो 500 minus हो रहे हैं और 500 add हो रहे हैं. ठीक है. Now the last one is sold goods for cash 10,000 at par. What do you mean by this word at par? At par means no profit, no लॉस. इसका मतलब होता है नो प्रॉफिट नो लॉस. इसका मतलब गुड्स भी 10,000 के थे और वो सेल भी 10,000 में हुए. So there is no profit, no loss. So here what will happen? Your stock will decrease by 10,000 and you will get in 10,000. है ना? Goods कम हो रहे हैं 10,000 से और cash आ रहा है 10,000. So your asset side will be 3,42,000 and your liability plus capital side will be 3,42,000. So LHS is equal to RHS. Okay. So here the most important part is your IOD wala part ka treatment. Then the second part, cash withdrawn for personal use, that you know, and depreciation part. Okay. And at par. Sold goods at par means no profit, no loss. 16th question. Sunil started business with cash 1,50,000. तो cash आ गया. Cash आप लिख दोगे 1,50,000 and capital also 1,50,000. Opened a bank account by depositing cash of 25,000. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? आपका cash will decrease because cash ही तो आप बैंक में डाल रहे हो. तो cash will decrease by 25,000 and at the same time your cash at bank will increase by 25,000. Okay. So I'm just showing you the transactions. कैसे कैसे affect हो रहे हैं. Now the third one. He sold his personal car and deposited the amount in the firm's bank account. उसने अपनी पर्सनल कार बेच के जो 50,000 मिले वो फर्म के बैंक अकाउंट में डाले. So this is just like additional capital. It is just like what? कि जैसे कि कोई additional capital लेके आता है ओनर. Same treatment. तो यहाँ पे पर बैंक में उसने डिपॉजिट करा तो आप बैंक में ही करोगे. 50,000 add in bank and 50,000 additional capital की तरह आप capital में add कर दोगे. Understood? Now the fourth part. He purchased building and furniture for 1 lakh. For 1 lakh. So building and furniture will be added under the asset part. And what will happen? Building and furniture 1 lakh. He has got in the building and furniture, but he is paying the same amount of cash. So cash is decreasing. Bracket mein. Understood? Cash you will subtract. Then he purchased goods from Ram on credit 50,000. He purchased goods. So goods are increasing by 50,000. And creditors are also increasing by 50,000. See, goods stock is increasing by 50,000 here and your creditors are also increasing by 50,000. So you'll write creditors here. Okay. He paid cartage rupees 500. So cartage is an expense, payment. Expense will affect the capital account. It will affect the capital account. So cash will reduce by 500 and at the same time it is an expense. So 500 will be deducted from your capital account also. Understood? He sold to Shyam on credit goods costing rupees 6,000 for rupees 9,000. तो यहाँ पर profit हो रहा है. It's of 3,000. ठीक है? So this profit will affect the capital account. But the goods are sold on credit. तो ये जो 9,000 है, they are not being received. So ये debtors आ गए यहाँ पे. Understood? This 9,000 you're not getting immediately. So the debtors will pay the 9,000. So here debtors are created. New asset. तो अभी इसका treatment क्या होगा? So 6,000 is what? Stock. Stock is getting deducted. It's getting sold. so it will reduce. So इसलिए 6,000 which is the cost price of the goods that you will deduct from the stock. 9,000 are the debtors and the profit of 3,000 will be added to the capital account. So be very careful. अगर यहाँ पर लिखा होता it is a cash तो cash 9,000 increase होता, but यहाँ पे credit है तो debtors are formed. Now received rent from tenants rupees 1,000. So this is like an income. It's an income. Received rent. So this will affect the capital account. तो आपका क्या होगा इसमें 1,000 you will, your cash will increase and your capital will also increase because it is like an income, rent received. Now next, received security deposit from tenant 1,500. Now this is very important. Security deposit क्या आप tenant से ले रहे हो, किराएदार से. So this ultimately when he will leave you will have to pay it back. You will have to pay it back. So this is like a liability. This is like a liability. Understood? This is very, very important. So this security deposit is a liability. So your cash will increase by 1,500. Your cash, see here, your cash will increase by 1,500 and at the same time your liability, that is your creditors, will also increase by 1,500. So 50,000 plus 1,500, that is 51,500. 51,500 will be your liability. ठीक है, तो यहाँ creditors के नीचे आएगा ये, ना कि इधर capital account को it will not affect. It's not an income. This is not an income. Security deposit, you have to return it back. It's a liability because security deposit has to be returned, so be very careful. It's not an income. Purchase stationery for cash rupees 100. तो यहाँ पे 100 rupees will be deducted from your cash and it is an expense. आप purchase कर रहे हो stationery, so it will affect the capital account. आप minus करोगे, so it's written in brackets. Understood? Then next, what is the next? Invested in shares for personal use 50,000. invested in shares personal, it's personal written है, तो इसका मतलब ये एकदम drawings की तरह है. It is just like your drawings, personal use 50,000. तो 50,000 क्या करेंगे हम लोग, cash में से subtract करेंगे, it will decrease by 50,000. But here you have to be very careful. Your cash is just 2 lakh, it's just 26,900 and you have to deduct 50,000. You cannot deduct from here, so you will deduct from cash at bank. Because 75,000 है वहाँ पे, and at the same time this 50,000 which is like a drawing, that will be deducted from your capital. ठीक है, so this you have to be very careful. Then invested in shares, it's just like drawings. Received interest in cash 200, it is just like an income 200. तो क्या करेंगे, 200 cash will increase and it's an income, so your capital account will also increase. Okay, next, introduced fresh capital of 25,000. It's like an additional capital. So again your cash will increase by 25,000 and your capital will also increase by 25,000. Goods destroyed by fire 500. So it's a loss and it will affect the capital account. So goods destroy हुए हैं, so your goods will go down by 500. ये stock है, stock में से 500 कम करेंगे and इसमें से भी capital से भी 500 कम करेंगे because it is a loss, है ना. तो this will be the final amounts for your cash, bank. This is your I think it's building and furniture. Okay, then building and furniture, this is your cash, this is your bank, this is your building, furniture, this is your stock and these are your debtors. और ये आपके creditors हैं which is your liability and this is your capital. तो अब आप इनको add करेंगे तो it will be 2,29,600. Same here, creditors plus capital will be 2,29,600. So your LHS is equal to your RHS. So in this question, it's very, very, very important. Please practice it because there are many transactions here which are new, like this one, invested in shares, personal, received security deposit. ठीक है, ये सब थोड़े new है. He sold his car for his personal car and deposited the amount in firm's bank account. Okay, so please practice this question. Question number 17. If capital is rupees 3 lakh and liabilities is 50,000, loss is 70,000, calculate the total assets. तो जो loss है, this will affect the capital account. तो your capital, पहले तो उसको सही करना है, 3 lakh minus the loss of 70,000. So this will make it 2,30,000. Now your liabilities, how much? Liabilities 50,000. So what will be the asset? Asset will be equal to liability plus capital. So how much is the liability? 50,000 plus capital is 2,30,000. 2,30,000. So how much? How much will be the asset? It will be 2,80,000 are your assets. Assets are 2,80,000. Question number 18. Okay. If total assets are 1,30,000 and net worth is 80,000, calculate the creditors. Calculate the creditors. Net worth. What do you mean by net worth? Net worth means capital. Net worth is another name for capital. Okay, so this is a new thing that you have learned. So asset is equal to liability plus capital. Asset कितने हैं? 1,30,000. Now how much is the liability? That you don't know. Creditors का मतलब you have to find out the liability only. ठीक है? So liability you don't know and capital is how much? 80,000. So your liability is equal to 1,30,000 minus 80,000, which is equal to 50,000. So creditors are 50,000. Creditors कितने हैं? 50,000 are the creditors. Understood? So net worth is 80,000 means it is the capital. Understood? Question number 19. A commenced business on 1st April with rupees 30,000 capital. As on 31st March 23, assets were 50,000. Assets were 50,000 and how much were the liabilities? And liabilities were 10,000. Find out his closing capital and profit earned during the year. Now, see, 1st April 2022, this means your opening capital is given. Opening capital is how much? 30,000. On 31st March, तो ये आपके closing है. Closing assets हैं. Closing assets कितने हैं? 50,000. And your closing liability is how much? It is 10,000. It is 10,000. है ना? तो आपकी closing capital क्या होगी? Closing capital will be equal to closing asset minus closing liability. तो closing asset आपके 50,000 है minus 10,000. Minus 10,000 which is equal to 40,000 is your closing capital. This is your closing capital. ठीक है? Now what else you have to find out? Find out the profit earned during the period. You have to find out the profit earned during the period. अब ये जो closing capital है वो कैसे आती है आपकी? Closing capital is always equal to opening capital plus what is there? Nothing is there. Drawings. तो जब profit पूछ रहे हैं that means profit must have been there. है ना? See, your opening capital is 30,000 and your closing capital is 40,000. So obviously the difference is the profit. It's the profit. So closing capital, which is 40,000, is equal to 30,000 plus your profit. So how much is the profit? Profit is 40,000 minus 30,000, which is equal to 10,000. So 10,000 is the profit. है ना? Because opening capital is 30,000, closing capital is 40,000. So there is an increase. है ना? There is an increase. So that increase is the profit. That increase in capital is because of the profit. Increase in capital is because of profit. ठीक है? Question number 20. Calculate total assets if capital is 40,000, creditors 25,000, which means liability. Revenue during the period is 50,000 and your expenses are 40,000. So first, this revenue and expense will have an effect on your capital account. So what you have to do, you have to make it correct. Capital कितनी होगी? Correct capital will be 40,000 plus the revenue, the income will increase. Revenue matlab income, income increases the capital account and expenses decrease the capital account. तो आपको ये revenue को add करना है and expense को subtract करना है capital में से, so that you get the correct one. So how much? How much is it? It is 50,000. How much is the capital? 50,000. Now you have got the capital, you have the liability. Can you find the asset? So asset is equal to liability plus capital. So how much is the liability? The liability is how much? It is 25,000. 25,000 is your liability. And how much is your capital? Capital is your 50,000. It's your 50,000. So how much is your asset? It is 75,000. It is 75,000 is your asset.